Hello, everybody, and welcome to the episode number 40. Today we have a guest from Belgium, Steven Van Belleghem, and today we are going to chat about winning hearts of clients in the digital era. I want to quickly introduce my guest. So Steven is an expert in customer experience in the digital world, and as well, he's an entrepreneur. He's a co-founder of a company called Nexxworks and the co-founder of content creation company Snackbytes. But what is really interesting is that he gave around 1,000 keynote speeches about customer relationships. So this is what we actually going to talk about in more than 40 countries, and he wrote 4 best-selling books. So one of his recent books called Customers the Day After Tomorrow When Digital Becomes Human received the award of Best Marketing Books of 2015. And so far, over 130,000 copies of this book were sold. So lots of things to discuss. And basically, we want to usually we talk about lead generation, sales, growing businesses, but the part of retention of client success, of having happy customers who become, let's say, a fundamental part of your business is being ignored. And today we are going to nail this challenge. So Steven, thanks a lot for joining me today.
It's my pleasure, Andre. Thanks for inviting me.
And I know I want to start our conversation with, let's say, a provocational question. So I want to ask you, what's broken in a modern digital customer relationship process? And what is the #1 alarming or negative trend you see now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. What is the #1 thing that is broken? In many organizations, the basics of digital convenience are not in place yet. In many situations, it is unclear. You have to push too many buttons. You're not 100% sure of a customer if you're doing the right thing. It creates uncertainty. You drop out, or you feel that it's not a good process and it's not a good experience. And this is, of course, in contrast with some of the digital tools that we use every single day that are on the front page of our mobile phone. Technology companies, incumbents that have figured out how to do it, your mobile banking app, all kind of tools that you use every day that deliver a very good, very fluent digital experience. And then if you're not up to that level yet as an organization, then that is a big problem. And if you look back to the past 10 years, digital convenience was the thing to positively differentiate you with towards the competition. Between 2010 and 2020, we could positively differentiate ourselves with convenience. That's how companies like Uber and Amazon became hugely successful. Today, we find that digital convenience is the most normal thing in the world. It's a commodity. If you have it, fine. If you don't have it, you're in deep trouble. So it's very difficult to positively differentiate yourself with convenience. It's more a negative differentiator if you don't have it. And this is still a big challenge for many organizations to deal with that. And yeah, that's an absolute priority to dive into that.
And can you please elaborate more on digital convenience? What do you mean, just to make it clear for our listeners, what do you mean? What should be done by default when it comes to digital convenience?
Yeah, 3 words: fast, easy, and fun. That's what people expect. If they want to buy something on a digital platform, if they want to do a transaction, if they need support, what they want is a fast, easy, and fun process to go through. And if you can deliver that, you're good. If you can't, you're in trouble. That is what digital convenience is all about for me.
Got it. And basically my next question, which originates from what we have discussed, is about a growing trend, which I see basically of decreasing the human work in customer support or client success and trying to automate these processes. So that's an era of chatbots, AI in client success. which is not really good every time, depending, of course, depending on your business, on your business model. But as you mentioned, sometimes, if you have an urgent question and you want to have a fast reply, chatbot might be good, but the reply might be completely different from what you expect. As well, if you have some urgent question, and you need to talk to human, and let's pretend we are talking about high ticket services or like enterprise SaaS, where you paid, let's say, 5 figures for some enterprise solution and you need a hands-on support. So my question is, where is the space for automation and where should be a human interaction?
Yeah, it's been a huge battle to find a place for automation in customer service. It's like the holy grail of customer service, because many organizations dream about automation to cut costs, right? And at the same time try to increase the speed and efficiency for customers. And let's be brutally honest here. Until now, there is not a single technology that is as good as human service. It's all suboptimal. And a chatbot, yes, it can be good if you ask them one of the frequently asked pre-programmed questions. As soon as you leave the predefined track, a chatbot doesn't really understand you. Most chatbots aren't smart. Most chatbots are an automated Excel sheet. And if you have a huge Excel sheet, it can help you with maybe loads of questions. But most companies have a small Excel sheet behind it, and then it's very limited. And then it's more frustrating for customers than something else. So I think that many consumers have lost their belief in chatbots a little bit. 10 years ago, people like me, I was convinced that social media would be the channel for customer service, but I was totally wrong. And I understand now, because social media is way too slow. If you send a tweet or a Facebook message, and even if that company is doing an outstanding job and is replying after 1 hour to you, which are like the social media standards, right? But an hour is like a century if you are in an airport and you have an urgent question. So an hour is not good enough. And plus, not everyone is willing to discuss their problems in a public space, what social media is. So that one wasn't good as well. So until now, the best possible channel are humans. And I think where automation works in the most effective way is if you support the humans with technology. In the end game will obviously be that we as consumers, that we have chatbots and virtual assistants that are helping us out with some questions. And once we get there and when it really works, then that's going to be fantastic. But that's going to take another 5 to 10 years, if you ask me. That process is slower than what we anticipated that it would be. If you want to use automation to support your humans. There are examples of software that, they come into your company, they study the data from the past, the customer service data from the past. And if then a new question comes in from a customer, they translate the question into algebra, into code, and then they dive back into the historical data and they think, okay, this is a pretty similar question. I think this could be a relevant answer. That answer is not sent directly to the customer. That answer is sent to the human that can see the suggestion by the computer, but the human can adapt it a little bit, can personalize it, can see if it makes sense or not for that question. And then it can be sent to the user, to the end customer. Why is this relevant? Because it allows customer service agents to reply faster and more personalized in their email communication than if they wouldn't have the software behind it. And I think that's where the secret is today. Intelligence augmented is how I call it. Figure out a way how to boost the productivity and the intelligence of your human service agents with automation, and they will deliver a faster and better service towards customers. That is where today you can make a difference.
I love this example, and basically it reminds me about the customer I used to work a couple of years ago from Denmark called Jatana.ai, and they actually created a plugin for Zendesk. So basically customer support agents could, once they receive a new ticket, so this plugin quickly do this search on their database and make a list of suggestions. So they just, as you mentioned, so they just can use the previous reply, slightly tweak it, and basically reply pretty fast. So that, of course, increases the And this is critical in case if if you have these fluctuations, for example, if you are running fluctuations in customer tickets. So let's say if we're talking about B2B e-commerce and we know holidays, all of this period of time and people, might be sending more requests, this is super helpful. But anyway, if we are talking about high ticket services where people expect this fast reply, where the high contracts is on the bet, so that's a fantastic solution. And the question, so that's a one use case. But I'm wondering as well, if we again talk about these interactions between human and technology, or armoring humans with technology, how do you think these interactions should be aligned with the customer journey?
And what exactly do you mean, Andre? Can you elaborate a little bit on the question?
Yeah, so I want to I want to meet basically what I mean is, let's pretend we have prospects who might be reaching the website and they might have some particular questions. Then we have customers. Then we have, even if we'll take a look on customers, we can divide always them on, let's say, VIP customers or the key customers that generate more revenue, and other customers. So in this case, like, I'm wondering what are thoughts on how to align this technology plus human support? Should be, let's say, these key customers get a dedicated customer support manager, while all others, first of all, being served by technology. So, like, your thoughts on these interactions?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna swing back to my answer that I gave on the previous question. That today the automated customer service is just not good enough yet for a large part of the questions. And I know that many companies are trying to automate, are trying to go to self-service. And for some functional items of the relationship, if people want to change something in a subscription, if they want to look up information, those kind of things, you can work with self-service, and people can look it up and go for it. But as soon as it becomes emotional, as soon as it becomes complex, that's the moment when you need human service. And I personally think it's a mistake if you only foresee the human service for VIP customers. I mean, every customer is an important client, and if it's a strategy of not giving good service to clients that just come in, or clients that are having maybe a lower spend with you, and you're not giving them excellent service, I think that is dangerous for your future growth. I think today people are very vocal about that. Today people will talk about you in a negative way. The word of mouth will be very negative if you do that. People will find out and they will not like it. So you have to make sure that your basic service delivery is in line with what the market today expects, and then you can you can have better and more exclusive service for people that are higher up the chain, like you have with airlines and stuff like this. But it's very important that for all customers, you have decent customer service, that if they pay you and something goes wrong, that you help them in a qualitative way. I think that's an absolute necessity.
Okay, completely agree with you. And I want to chat with you as well about the key pillars of creating great client success process. So how basically to make a client success effective, so it will help to winning hearts of clients, basically the topic of our episode.
Yeah, well, I've released a book in September 2020. It's called The Offer You Can't Refuse. It's my latest management book, my 5th one. And it's exactly about this. It asks the question, what do people expect these days? And what do you need to provide to give them an offer they can't refuse? And I work with 4 layers. The bottom layer is very simple. You need to have good product, good price, good service. And that used to be the minimum demand in the past, right? Today, digital convenience is also part of the minimum demand. Because of COVID, we saw a big digital jump forward in 2020. All curves had suddenly went steep up. It's like we climbed the Table Mountain in 2020. We went steep up and then we reached a new level of digital. It's like we stepped into a time machine, and in terms of digital behavior, we jumped 5 years ahead in time. And because of that, digital convenience is seen as the most normal thing in the world. So a minimum demand is today product price and digital convenience, but you need to have those two layers. And then the question is, what do people expect that goes beyond convenience? How can you positively differentiate yourself? And there I work with two other dimensions. On the one hand, I play with the idea, the concept that I call becoming a partner in life, which means that you understand the human behind the customer. And you don't just think about your products, but you think about the worries that people have, the fears and the dreams that people have in their day-to-day life. And you ask yourself, how can we add value in the life of the customer? Here, it's not about optimizing the transaction. Here, it's about optimizing the emotions that people have. This is not about a customer journey. This is about a life journey. How can you become a partner in life? And then the fourth layer, the top of the model, is changing your world. And this is about using your own strengths as a leverage to do something that is good for society, adding value to society in a way that it's linked to your business model, in a way that it's linked to your customers, in a way that it adds value to society. And if you combine all these four elements, good product, good price, digital convenience, partner in life, and then changing your world, you deliver value on each of the components that people find important these days. And then all that together brings an offer people can't refuse. That's, based on my research, based on my experience, this is what I've seen that, will help you win the heart and the business of your customers in the next few years.
Can you please share any examples of companies that excelled at this process?
Yeah, of course. Let me begin with an insurance company from the Netherlands in Europe. You have a company called Centraal Beheer. It's part of the Achmea group, and it's one of the largest, oldest insurance companies from the Netherlands. They decided at a certain moment that they didn't just want to sell insurance products. They want to become a partner in sustainable living for their clients. And now, for instance, they bring additional services to the market. For instance, you can buy solar panels from them because they know that a lot of people in the Netherlands would like to get solar panels, but they also know that a lot of people are worried about how to do it, and they see it as a hustle. They don't trust the suppliers. Now, this insurance company, in the last few years, they had thousands of claims of unhappy people with their solar panels. So based on their data, they can perfectly know who's a good player to work with and who's not a good player to work with. So they use that knowledge to bring value to their customer, become a partner in life. And at the same time, if you install solar panels, you become a company that's aware of sustainability. So you're having an impact on the world as well. So you're becoming a partner in life and you're having a positive impact on the world at the same time. And this is one example of the things that they do, but they help their customers with making sure that their house is fully prepared to be protected against fire. They're not just sending advice. They're not making a blog with the 5 tips to make sure your house is safe. No, they send someone to your house and they check if everything is okay, if your smoke detectors are still working, if everything's been done, what can be done to make sure your house is safe. They have an app. It's like an Uber for chores. If you need something that, if you have a chore in your house, if something needs to be done, and you're like me, when you have 2 left hands, I have really big left hands, Andre. When you're like me, you can use the app, you push a button, and the same day they will send someone to your house to fix it. You see, this is an insurance company that is not just about selling you an insurance and sending you an annual invoice. No, they're becoming a partner with sustainable living. They're helping you with a lot of things that are related to your house, and they want to make sure that you don't need to worry about that. That's a partner in life. And on some of those elements, they also instantly have an impact on society. So I love that example because I see a lot of movement with incumbents. This is no longer the era where we're only going to look at Amazon, Facebook, and Google to talk about cool things. We're going to talk about incumbents that transform themselves to use their strength to have more impact. The day that an incumbent also succeeds in delivering digital convenience, because that's a minimum demand, they will be able to differentiate on the top 2 levels of my model, probably in a way that a company like Amazon will not do. So it gives them a lot of ammunition to differentiate them and to fight back against those technology companies. And if you understand this as an organization, wow, you can really differentiate you in the market.
I love it. And basically, I will try to recap this example and try to extrapolate it on marketing. So we see a great example when company listen to their customers. They basically analyze their needs, and this is a client success process. So they come up with these ideas to marketing, and so they validate the demand, and they see the demand on this, let's say, local market. So then they decide to expand their portfolio with a new product, and they start thinking about how to outstand themselves from the competition, not just start selling these solar panels, but basically how to make people, how to simplify people's life, as you mentioned, becoming a partner in life. So they will take care about control of these solar panels. They provide an app where if something goes wrong, you can quickly call their representative who will come and help you. And basically it helps to reposition business, to expand the business, to grow revenue with a completely new product. And it helps you, as well, it simplifies your sales offer or sales proposition, if you will. So you have an, let's say, an irresistible, or what you call the offer you can't refuse, because you know the problem, and you don't need, like, let's say, a new wolf from the Wall Street who will be persuaded, buy the stuff from me, but basically you provide a solution to their needs. So that's why I love this example. And I want to ask you,
add one thing, Andre, I think is really valuable, because this is an insurance company doing this, right? And they're adding all these services. They're paid services, so they're not for free. But what I think is really smart is that they offer this to everyone in the Netherlands. This is not just something that they sell to their insurance clients as some sort of a upsell. No, this is available for everyone in the Netherlands. And what they see is that 50%, half of the people who use the new services are non-insurance clients. So you can imagine the possibilities, the opportunities to grow them into becoming an insurance client as well. So I think that's a smart element of their strategy as well.
Absolutely. I love this example, and thank you so much for sharing it. And the best part that this example comes from the commoditized market. So where, companies are operating in this, let's say, old-fashioned silos. And this is a fantastic example. And I'm thinking about, are there any examples you can share as well where sales process is so tightly aligned with client success? So client success brings these insights to sales or to marketing team, and they can improve their proposal, their offer, or basically become more valuable to their customers.
I don't know. I'm scanning my head. At first glance, I'm not really into the details of the sales processes of organizations. So at this moment, no, I don't see an example popping up right now. Sorry for that.
No worries. Basically, we just chatted. That was a fantastic example as well, how company based on great client success process were able to as well to improve their sales process, their sales offer. And so we mentioned this for, let's say, 4 layers of your business model. And is this what you mentioned as the investment access that will help to win the heart of your customers in the next 5 to 10 years in that book called Customers the Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah, in my previous book, Customers Day After Tomorrow, I invite people to dare to dream about what technology could do to their customer relation, right? It's a story about artificial intelligence and how you can look into using AI to improve your customer experience. And I think if you want to, add automation to your processes, there are indeed 3 investment axes to look into. The first one is obviously leveraging your data. where it's about not just collecting data. It's, in my opinion, it's not even about big data. It's about smart data. It's about asking what kind of value do we want to create towards customers, and then seeing, okay, what kind of data do we need, and how can we leverage this data? And it's a little bit trying to activate the circle of life of artificial intelligence. The circle of life of AI is that you have a good product and you attract users. Those users generate data, and you use that data to improve your services, right? And the faster that wheel spin, the faster you will go away from your competition in terms of quality. So, and that's the leverage on the data that I mean, that circle of life, that wheel that starts to spin, you collect the data, you improve your services. That's one investment axis. The second one is about interfaces. We're seeing a lot of new interfaces, and some are successful, some are less successful, but it's very simple to see the trend. The interface of the future has 4 characteristics. First of all, it's becoming invisible. A lot of the technologies that we've been talking about are just invisibly around us, and they do stuff and we don't even have to push a button. We don't even know that it happens. It's invisible. They're more and more personalized. It's not about the average customer anymore. It's about the needs of the individual customer. They're more and more proactive. It's about anticipating to problems. And they are requiring 0 effort from the user. So if you work with those 4 characteristics, it will help you to define the interface of the future, and it will help you to make an assessment if your interfaces are in line with today's modern expectations of customers. So that's number 2. We had data leverage. Now we have effortless interfaces. And then you have number 3, and we already talked about it, intelligence augmented. The technology is not always good enough, so you need to figure out a way how to boost the intelligence of your humans, create intelligence augmented, give them tools that they have higher productivity and a higher performance towards your customers. That's number 3. So those are 3 investment axes: data leverage, effortless interfaces, intelligence augmented, that are, let's say, a direction that you can follow to see if you are using technology in a smart way to create value for customers.
And just to wrap it up to wrap up this conversation, because that was a really brilliant chat with lots of insights and great examples, I'd like to ask a question. What is your favorite, if we can name it, client success tech? Or maybe if you can take a look on any of your customers, maybe you can share this, let's say, customer success tech that you love and that might be helpful for companies that want to, refine or improve their client success process.
There's so many things, Andre. Like for instance, I'm a huge Disney fan, and I'm a very big fan of their magic bands in Disney World, where they create an additional interface for their customers. Going to Disney World is an offline experience, but they give you a magic band that is like creating a virtual magical experience around you that gives you access to their parks, to your hotel room. It allows you to pay. You make reservations with it for rides and restaurants. And it really facilitates your entire experience. Your experience becomes better because you have to waste less time to all kind of operational things because you have the magic band. So that's one of my favorite interfaces that is boosting success. What they've seen is that people with a magic band, they spend about 30% more money in Disney World than people without a magic band, just because their life became fast, easy, and fun, remember? So I think that is my favorite one.
Okay, cool. And in terms of technology, any favorite, let's say, software that you actually enjoy or you recommend to implement?
Yeah, well, I'll give you 2. And I have to say I'm biased because in one, I'm a personal investor, and in the other one, it's led by some good friends of mine. The first one is Hello Customer, company that facilitates getting customer feedback in a very efficient and effective way, using AI algorithms that will make sure that you will capture the feedback of users, and it will be translated into concrete recommendations in a very, very detailed level for all the people that work in your organization. So that's one that I'm investing in because I'm a big believer in their philosophy. And I also believe that every organization should figure out a way how to get fast and effective customer feedback. So hello customer is my first one. Then something maybe for the people who are listening in B2B and have a lot of salespeople. There I'm a huge fan of a company called Showpad. Showpad is a sales enabling tool software company. They have a great vision about B2B sales. Just going to their content is really relevant. And you know, their founders, they are very passionate about this, and they have a very strong futuristic vision about where sales is going. And with their software, with the Showpad software that is being used by salespeople, you make sure that salespeople can offer more accurate, more personalized content towards their prospects and clients. And yeah, they're doing a great job. I'm a huge fan of them. So two examples: hello customer, Showpad, two friends of mine who run the companies.
Thank you so much. And a quick note for our listeners, you guys will be able to find the links to the software that we have mentioned today in the podcast description. And as well, I highly recommend you to follow Steven on LinkedIn. He is an active member of this community, of this platform, so you can follow his content. Just type Steven Van Belleghem. And if you'd like to purchase the books or learn more about the books we were mentioning today, and the recent one that was released, the offer you can't refuse, basically the book. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, you can see it on Steven's background. So yeah, if you'd like to purchase this book, type www.stevenvanbelleghem.com and navigate to shop, where you'll be able to find all the books and basically learn more about them and purchase them directly from Steven's website. So thank you so much for this conversation. It was lots of fun and lots of insights. And yeah, thanks for sharing these brilliant examples with me.
Thanks for having me, Andre. It was a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.
See you in the next episodes. Cheers.